Good Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us here on Kare 11 News Now. I'm Alicia Lewis. Happening today, lawmakers will consider a new proposal to help HCMC recover from a multi-billion-dollar budget shortfall. Right now, the hospital is on track to close by the end of this year. Our Megan McPherson's at the Capitol with the details.
Yeah, so House and Senate committees are will both be discussing proposals here at the Capitol this morning aimed at pulling or helping pull HCMC out of its growing financial crisis. Now, the hospital's new CEO, Dr. John Cumming, would not weigh in on whether he supports a tax increase, but for weeks now, we have been hearing hospital leaders warn that without a stable long-term funding solution, HCMC could begin shutting down services as soon as June.
I mean, if you think you can cut your way out of where we're at, we start affecting really critical services. I think there is opportunity for us moving forward. That's for them to craft, and my focus needs to be here.
Now, I want to break down the bills being discussed today. The House proposal would repurpose and expand an existing Hennepin County sales tax from 0.15% to 1%, and that would create a long-term funding stream for Hennepin healthcare. Now, the Senate plan takes a different approach. It would authorize a one-time emergency grant to stabilize HCMC operations and, as the bill states, avoid closure. I do want to note that that Senate plan is simply just a draft of a bill. It hasn't actually been numbered or formally introduced yet. Now, the threat to HCMC, for those who aren't familiar with this, is being driven by a mix of financial pressures, really a mix of factors. And those factors include rising health care costs, higher deductible insurance plans, and growing Medicare cuts and Medicaid cuts. We will continue to follow both of these proposals and share any developments both on air and online. Back to you.
Megan, thank you. Well, new charges could come down as soon as today for a Minneapolis man accused of assaulting his neighbor who has now passed away. The 7-year-old man died yesterday, more than a week after the argument. Now, police say they responded to the apartment building on Hennepin Avenue on Easter and found the man unconscious in the hallway. According to charging documents, the victim's neighbor, 61-year-old Michael Walker, punched him in the elevator after the victim nudged him with his laundry basket. A security guard told police the two had an ongoing feud. Walker was arrested on assault charges, but police say they expect to add homicide charges as well. New this morning, a popular TikToker is responding to a decision banning him from St. Paul parks. Our Audrey Russo's at the live desk with the latest on this legal drama.
Josh Liljenquist sent us this new statement overnight saying that he plans to appeal the 6-month ban from St. Paul's parks. He went on to claim that the city is being vague in their accusations against him.
They haven't provided me a single date or a single time of wrongdoing at the camp. And the part that was weird was I was never approached by anybody from the city or the police department beforehand.
Now, the city's letter to the TikTok star accuses him of harassing and recording vulnerable people in the homeless encampment in Pig's Eye Park. Now, they're referencing his TikTok page, which has millions of followers and features videos of Liljenquist pretending to be homeless. In these videos, Liljenquist financially helps those who show him kindness. And he also does some direct outreach to people who are actually unhoused. Liljenquist and his team say they always ask permission before posting someone's story. And Liljenquist says that he's also started a change.org petition asking the city to reconsider the ban. And when I last looked about a half hour ago, it had 77 signatures. Back to you.
New this morning, the biggest referendum in Wayzata Public Schools history has been approved. Voters said yes to all 3 questions at the polls. The district's biggest ask was for nearly $500 million to build 2 new schools and expand Wayzata High School. 70% of voters said yes. The district says the new schools will help ones that are already at capacity. Voters were also asked to weigh in on building a new $31 million 8-lane pool at Wayzata High School. 60% said yes. Voters also approved renewing a technology levy to help keep school software and devices up to date. Right now, Minneapolis is getting ready to break ground on George Floyd Square, turning it into a permanent memorial site. After years of planning and debate, some of George Floyd's family say that they're ready to see it move forward. The redesign will include new green spaces, art and memorials, and upgraded bike paths. Floyd's aunt says that she hopes construction workers will treat the space with respect.
My concern is I hope when they do come out here, they come out here knowing, don't do this just as a job. Then you're going to be doing construction on the ground that he was murdered. You're going to be out here doing construction on places where people cry their eyes out.
Construction will begin in June at 38th in Chicago, with a second phase starting next spring. Happening right now, closing arguments are happening in the trial for David Wright, the man accused of killing ex-girlfriend Mariah Samuels. It comes a day after a major twist inside the courtroom. Our Lou Ragoose explains.
Incredible testimony in a high-profile Minneapolis murder case as the defendant fully confesses while being questioned by his attorney, explaining how he killed his ex-girlfriend as her family listens in the packed courtroom. David Wright is charged with premeditated first-degree murder in the shooting death of Mariah Samuels. This case got a lot of attention because Minneapolis police were accused of not doing enough to enforce an order for protection that Samuels was granted against Wright after he assaulted her a month earlier. Samuels was shot multiple times inside her car one morning in September. Before telling the story, Wright apologized to Samuels' family in the courtroom. Then he detailed how he saw her car drive by. He walked up and started shooting her through the window, tried pulling her out, tried stealing her car, although it wouldn't start, then biking away. His attorney asked, "How do you feel about what you did?" Wright said, "Terrible. I did a terrible thing. I feel terrible." She asked, "What was going through your mind as you were leaving?" Wright said, "I'm not going back to jail."
Well, pair lawmakers Representative Eric Swalwell, a California Democrat, and Representative Tony Gonzalez, a Texas Republican, have resigned from Congress amid sexual misconduct allegations, preempting a push by their House colleagues to expel them from office. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Hi there. Swalwell, a prominent Democrat, was running for California governor before multiple women came forward accusing him of sexual misconduct, the latest allegations triggering a second criminal investigation. In a new push for accountability, former California Congressman Eric Swalwell, one of two House members who resigned on Tuesday, now facing a criminal investigation, with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department looking into serious new allegations from this woman, Lana Drews, who says Swalwell drugged her drink, raped, and choked her in a California hotel room in 2018.
I lost consciousness, and I thought I died.
Drews says she met Swalwell socially, was interested in a business relationship, and that while she didn't report the alleged assault at the time, she did confide in multiple people and make handwritten notes, saying her delay in coming forward
Was driven by fear, not doubt.
Swalwell, a married father of three, apologized for past mistakes in judgment while forcefully denying all allegations of sexual assault or misconduct that multiple women have made against him, including this former staffer who spoke exclusively to CBS News.
It started out as professional and platonic, and then slowly they became more and more explicit.
In a statement, Swalwell's attorney called all of the accusations false, fabricated, and deeply offensive, alleging they're a political hit job. Swalwell dropped his run for California governor and chose to resign from Congress as fellow lawmakers threatened to expel him. Republican Representative Tony Gonzalez making the same decision on the same day. The married father of six previously admitted to an affair with a staffer who later died by suicide.
I made a mistake and I had a lapse in judgment.
The two resignations won't shift the balance of power in Congress, but advocates are hoping for change. Swalwell is already facing a separate criminal investigation over an alleged assault in a Manhattan hotel room in 2024. California's governor announced an August special election to fill the rest of Swalwell's term. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Taking you live from the U.S. Capitol right now. As soon as today, senators could vote on a bill to overturn a mining ban in the Superior National Forest to allow copper-nickel mining. Minnesota Senators Tina Smith and Amy Klobuchar both speaking against the bill. Critics say mining just outside the boundary waters could pollute that area. Now, if the Senate overturns the ban, it would head to President Trump's desk. The Gopher women's gymnastics team is heading to nationals. A group of supporters there sending them off yesterday with cheers and hugs. This is the team's first trip to nationals since 2022, and competition begins tomorrow in Fort Worth. Best of luck to them. Hey, stick around. More news and weather coming up after the break.